Hi, welcome to BackChat, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mafipe Chunga, who is a chartered accountant, an entrepreneur, and an investment advisor. Mafipe, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and we are very happy to have you here. How's it going? How have you been?
I think things are going quite well. The 2024 is my year.
Okay. Could you tell us a bit more? How this energy, I like it.
Sure. In 2023, I left formal employment to set up my own company, MCA Consulting.
Okay.
And we were basically looking to take advantage of a turning point. I believe Zambia is in a turning point right now.
Okay.
There are opportunities, and you can see it because people are flocking to Zambia right now. While many people locally are not seeing those opportunities, I said, this is my chance.
Okay, so during your time as a financial advisor in the financial sector and the other roles that you have you noticed a change in the investment landscape in the country?
Yes and no. I think I first started working in KPMG probably about 2007. At that time, there was a lot of interest in investing in Zambia because the economy was on the rise, on the back of the growth in commodity prices and so on. We had a dip late 2009, I believe, and the government never really recovered from that. Okay. We had a downturn in Zambia that came from about 2012 all the way till, I would say, 2022, when we began to see almost a second wave of interest, investment, growth, and opportunities.
Okay, so could you tell us a bit more about MCA Consulting and how has your recent work setting up the company helped you understand the Zambian investment climate more?
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about the work I used to do and how that transitioned into what I'm doing at MCA. Historically, companies looking to invest in Zambia would arrive at our office and say, look, this is what we do in our home country. Do you think it can work in Zambia? And we'd say yes, no, or maybe. And that maybe would turn into a study into that market, support development of the business plan, and sometimes it'll go all the way up to providing the initial staff who work in the company. So what I'm doing now, some of it is similar, but I'm also implementing the very same things myself.
Okay.
The opportunities that I was encouraging people to take up, I'm taking them up. So I'll tell you a bit about MCA Consulting. We're looking to do 4 pieces of work.
Okay.
The first one is around bookkeeping. And bookkeeping, the service is targeted at 2 types. The first would be companies that are too small to have an accountant in-house and would like to outsource that so that they're compliant, regulatory and otherwise, taxes, etc. The second one is joint ventures, where 2 people are meeting business-wise for the first time and they'd like an independent party to manage the finances for them. We've also found a lot of projects are looking to achieve the same objectives. Projects have a particular challenge around the setup and the closing. In the beginning, you don't have staff in place. At the end, you might not have staff in place. So to have that continuity, it's quite useful to have that. The second part of work that I'm doing is that we know that the Zambian government was heavily indebted. What people don't realize is that Zambian businesses and Zambian individuals are also heavily indebted. So in 2017, the government introduced the Corporate Insolvency Act. Historically, we had liquidations, we had receiverships, but a new segment called business rescue was added, where people could get bankruptcy protection for a year while they reorganize their companies. So I found myself doing a lot of work in that space as well, because those challenges we see at the top line also occur corporate level as well. So we talked about bookkeeping. The second line has been insolvency work. The third line has been management consulting. So management consulting can take many forms. We've been doing a lot of work around capacity building for SMEs, but also development of business plans, raising of finances has also been a key area of interest. And the fourth one, which is quite unusual, is also disputes. So many disputes are over finances. Strangely, people often take a legal angle to them, which will eventually lead them back to a financial person supporting resolution of the dispute. So we are working with law firms and companies to resolve financial disputes, whether it's balances that are outstanding, complex reconciliations. We're able to generate evidence, fact-based evidence, So I'm doing a lot of work in that space as well. So we've got 4 lines predominantly that we're running inside MCA Consulting.
Okay, thank you for that insight. Very, very good to hear about it. It's also inspiring that you're doing all of this. And something else we know about you, or those that don't know about it, is OneSquareK, which is a crowd-funded, youth-focused housing development that you have been doing. Where did you initially see an opportunity to invest in this space, and how long has it been running for, and what are your plans for the future?
Sure. Let me tell you a bit about OneSquareK. It's been running in different forms for 10 years now. It started from a discussion on the kitchen room table with my wife.
Okay.
And we began to ask ourselves a very difficult question that many people in employment have for themselves. It said, in the workspace, we are so successful. This profile is so promising.
Yeah.
Why are we not successful financially ourselves?
Okay.
And we kind of interrogated that a bit, and the conclusion we came to is that we behaved like different people in the workplace than we did at home. There was a work me and a personal me. The work me was diligent, structured, disciplined, reported on things. And the personal me had money, spent it, it came in and out. I have a problem, I resolve it.
Yeah.
So we were looking to say, what exactly do we do at work, and how can we bring those skills to bear in a business that we own? So we came up with the idea of OneSquareK. I often hear it with singers, that a person says they were singing and a third person came to them and said, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So we were already kind of building in the building space.
Yeah.
We were developing some apartments, and people would come and say, this is groundbreaking. So we sought to kind of build on that and say we're going to develop something in the real estate space because we're inherently good at it for whatever reason. But now we said we're going to take our professional skills and bring them to bear. My wife was a project manager, and I was more of a finance person.
Okay.
So we always joke that she's the clever one because she was a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
And said, look, where are these skills coming to bear in our own business?
How we use it, yes.
How are we using them? So we set out, we kind of, the goal was to create something life-changing because we had some property, but it wasn't changing our lives. So we went back to the architect and said, we need something that when complete will be life-changing for us.
Okay.
And the vision was to develop 44 apartments in a single block in a space that was 20 by 20, which is quite challenging. Yeah. It was meant to be 4 levels, and it was meant to be beautiful but not expensive. So we're targeting people who are working for the first time. So we started actually building in 2018.
Yeah.
And we set ourselves a target of not taking on any debt for the project, which was more difficult to do. So all our earnings, all our assets, we sold them and put them into the project. But at some point, somebody came to us and said, can I invest in the project? Inherently, you're hard to say no.
Yeah.
Because you're worried, there'll be differences and so on. And we said, this is where we need to take a risk, be ambitious. And we took their money, and in exchange for 49% of an existing apartment. So we built 5 apartments, and we sold 49% of each apartment.
Okay.
And we took that money and continued building. Okay. And what was interesting was that we moved from having our first demo apartment that somebody came in and was desperate to rent.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be our office. Someone offered us money for it, and we said, if it's a business, we can't refuse the money. So we took the lease and moved into the incomplete office next door. And the same thing kept on happening. And even on the investment side, people kept on bringing investments. And we moved from having the first 5 units to 31 units in the current building. We recently flagged off the second OneSquareK building in Chilenje. So the first building is in Kalingalinga.
Okay.
And the second building is in Chilenje.
Okay.
We're building 31 apartments in that block as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think like most things, it happened slowly.
Okay.
It was a very sequential series of steps. So what's eventually happened is a group of 16 people trusted us, and we had to deliver on that trust and create a system where we could report to them as well,
Yeah.
and show exactly what we are doing with their money. So when I last checked, we had gone 20 consecutive quarters where we posted a dividend.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a debt burden,
Yeah.
the conversion from this is the revenue to this is what's payable is very good.
Okay, so what role, if any, do you think President Hichilema has played in attracting investment into Zambia?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think here are two things. You've got local investment and local sentiment, international investment, international sentiment. The two are quite closely related.
Yeah.
When you have negative sentiment about Zambia, people locally start repeating that, internalizing it, believing it. Okay? What I saw was that the government had a very clear business-friendly message. And that started from the very beginning of his presidency, 2021.
Yeah.
I could see a lot of parallels with what happened in the Mwanawasa administration. Many people forget that Levi Mwanawasa was an unpopular president. He acquired 27% of the vote in 2001. People disliked him and had all manner of other candidates they wanted, but he had a plan and began to implement that plan. By 2005-06, people began to see the fruits of that plan. And he won a landslide victory in the next election because people could see this is something we need to back.
Yeah.
And I see something, I guess, similar from the government in that there were a lot of frustrations of business people, of Zambians abroad and locally. And he's come with a positive message. He's come with a message of saying that this is a time to turn things around and turn the economy around. I've internalized that message and many others have. So I'm working and I'm focused on that.
Okay, so you've been in business, you've been doing the building project. You spoke about having people come in, people to trust you with their money, onboarding them. You mentioned about 16 people. So what factors do you believe are key to ensuring a favorable investment climate within the country?
Okay, I think we often hear the issue of a favorable investment climate, okay? And I think I always say that a good friend is a predictable friend. You know, that friend who just does the most random thing is problematic. We need some kind of predictability. When the government comes out and says, 5 years' time, this is what we want, just stick to it. I think that's a cornerstone of a favorable investment climate. I think the other thing where we can do more is to openly back Zambian companies. We seem to feel shy about saying these are our interests and this is what we will focus on. And we're still looking for external validation. And I think when we do what Botswana has done and others to say that our companies need to make progress, it's going to happen.
So just to conclude, for the future, are you hopeful? What do you expect to change? What do you think needs to change?
Hopeful. I must be hopeful because I'm walking the walk in that I'm all in. So if you look at Zambia today, you have a negative vibe of people telling you there's this problem and that problem. We do have problems. But at the same time, if you're just on a flight coming into Zambia, it's absolutely packed with people coming to Zambia for the first time, looking to invest. And we need to stop and ask ourselves, hold on, what is it that they're seeing that we're not? There's something that's already here. There's already a vast opportunity. And we need to be at the forefront of benefiting from that and exploiting it as well. I think we, the Zambian people, need to be ambassadors rather than mindless critics. It's fine to criticize. That's how we'll drive progress and say, this is what needs to change. But at the same time, we also need to be delivering on business objectives and not just standing back and complaining all the time.
Well, you've heard it. This has been BackChat with Mafipe. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on.
Most welcome.
And we hope we can have this conversation again. I think we've got a lot to talk about.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and thank you so much. So until next time, thank you, Mafipe. Thank you for your time.